So this is podcast number 3 here at Victory GMC. How you doing today, Amanda?
I'm doing good. How are you?
So, Amanda, you're the BDC manager. You kind of handle the ins and outs of internet leads, BDC, finance part. You take it from by the time somebody puts a lead in all the way through, basically. Yeah.
Front to back.
And I'm sure over the course of time, you have had some funny stories happen.
Very funny.
Yeah. You want to elaborate a little bit?
Yeah, we can do that.
Yep.
Usually it's out of state. But we do have some language barriers here and there. So they're a little bit more lengthy. But it is a lot of fun to work with them. And we do have a Cuban guy here, so he's nice to have. And we do have somebody who obviously doesn't speak English, but it's so much fun to work with them.
Yeah.
Because most of the time they don't know how to buy over the phone or anything like that. So
if you have like a language barrier or something like that, I know that you do probably the best I've ever seen. You do a great job of kind of overcoming. I mean, because people buy from everywhere. I mean,
everywhere.
Where have they bought from? Every state. You sold every state. Yeah. I mean, just this week, I mean, y'all sold something today where's that car? Where's that Cadillac going to?
Well, there was a lady who picked it up from Missouri, but we're about to sell 3 to Virginia. It's right next to Washington.
Long ways.
It's a long ways. And they don't speak any English, but they are so much fun to work with. And they're very easy to work with. Yeah. So they're going to come drive all the way to Missouri to come pick it up.
Really?
Yep.
That's pretty good.
Yep.
So how, for somebody that's in Virginia, when they get you and they send a lead in, what do you do, or how do you make them feel comfortable? Like, hey, this is the place to buy a car. Because I mean, I'll be honest with you, if I was buying a car in Virginia or buying anything in Virginia or New York or California, wherever, I mean, there's got to be some kind of trust there. I mean, so.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So you got to build a rapport with them.
Yep.
Obviously you don't want them to think they're just a customer. Now I built rapport with them because I'm actually from Virginia. So it was nice to tell them they're actually only 30 minutes from where I was born at.
Really?
So yeah. So it was cool to kind of build rapport with them from that way. And then obviously throughout the process, you have to get to know them and, obviously build that trust and ask them questions about their life and things like that. So it's not just a business transaction. You're actually making them feel welcome, and those customers always come back.
Yeah. So even though they're in Virginia, we sell people in other states. We sell them multiple cars. If they buy one, they go, hey, they was great to deal with. The man was great.
Yep.
And so now let's take, for example, they're driving here. But if sometimes people buy a car and go, hey, I'm not driving that far. Can you ship it to me?
Yep.
Can you get it to me?
Yep. We ship anywhere. People can fly in, just like my customers from Alaska that I sold in Smithville a couple of years ago. And they came from Alaska. So they flew all the way in here. Then they bought a Spark and they drove the Spark back to Alaska.
They don't have any Sparks in Alaska.
No.
Yeah.
I don't know how they're going to drive it.
I've been to Alaska. I've never seen a Spark in Alaska. I don't know how they get around in Alaska.
He still calls me. He's going to buy another one.
Really?
Uh-huh.
So, but that's a good thing. And I think it ties back to the way we do business here. I mean, we do business a little bit different. If somebody buys from Alaska, Virginia, whatever, we still treat them like a friend and a family.
Oh, absolutely.
We've always done that.
Yep.
I mean, so yeah. So but you will transport a vehicle anywhere if you have to.
Anywhere. Doesn't matter what state it is.
And is that a hard process?
No, it's very easy.
Really?
If they want to do it, they can pick whatever transport they want. I have about 3 that I've always used throughout all of the U.S., and sometimes they'll use those. So it's whoever's going to give them the lowest quote. But I mean, it's so easy. All they have to do is pick the day that they want it picked up. We'll get it detailed. We'll handle it on our end for them to pick it up. We have SafePoint, so you can see exactly where the vehicle is. So you can give them reassurance that you know where it is, what time it's going to be to their house or their business, wherever they want it delivered at, and then it's done.
What's SafePoint?
SafePoint is a GPS device that we use on the cars, but it does a lot of other things. Like it does your service history records. You can make your service appointments on there. You can see exactly where the car is. You can see how it's been driven.
So once they purchase the car, whatever, they have an app or something that tells them, here's my car. It's getting delivered to me. They can watch it. It ain't like your car goes here, there. They're watching that car all the way to them, and they can see exactly where their car is at all the time.
Exactly.
And that's awesome. That is really awesome. So the people that buy the car from us, and I mean, there's still got to be some kind of a, you know what I'm saying, a trust thing there. I mean, So you make it easy enough that they just absolutely trust you. And because I mean, like I said, it'd be hard for me to buy something somewhere else like that. And I never seen it.
But it's so easy. So, I mean, I send them a very thorough video before they even buy the car. So they know exactly what it looks like. We start it up. They know exactly how it sounds when it starts up. We drive it around if they want us to do that. If there's any small scratch, anything that's on there, I let them know up front. So they know exactly what they're getting just as if they were here. Yeah. And if they have an iPhone, we FaceTime them in real life. So they know exactly what they're getting. So they're not going to be scared to buy something.
Right.
When it looks like they're actually here on the lot. And then once they get it, you still have to keep that rapport going. You got to check up on them, every week, every 2 weeks for probably about a month. And then make sure everything's still going smooth. Make sure they don't have any questions about technology or anything like that. So it's not like we just buy the car and we just never talk to them ever again. We stay in contact.
So I know a lot of times that you'll come up and tell me, said, hey, I've sold the last one of this. I've sold this. So you actually have people on waiting lists because I buy them cars. Like I know I got 3 people right now that you said, hey, I need this, this, and this. So if somebody, even if we don't have it, they can call you and say, hey, I need a car, find me this, and we'll still deliver. They can pick it up. We can do every bit of that from start to finish.
Yep, they don't have to do any of the shopping. I do it completely myself. If we don't have it at another lot that's locally, then obviously we'll find them one, which is still super easy. They just give me the list of criteria that they want. We find it, and then we figure the rest out later.
So let's take, for example, somebody from Virginia, somebody from California goes, man, I want to buy the car from you, but I don't have cash to pay for it. I'm way over here. What do we do about financing?
I typically always finance.
Really?
We rarely ever, I mean, we do wire transfers if they absolutely want to pay cash. They have their credit union in another state. That's totally fine. But for the most part, we do finance here. And then we do everything, obviously, DocuSign. So it's so easy.
So they never have to even come to the dealership.
They don't have to leave their house.
That's pretty good.
Yep. And a lot of people like it. Yeah.
So actually use DocuSign everything, and nobody never comes to the dealership. Never.
Nope.
That's pretty good.
Yep. They get the Carfax. They have a copy of everything just as if they were literally here. And that's why a lot of people like to buy out of state now.
I remember back when we was at Smithville when COVID started. You remember that?
Yeah.
It was me, you, the managers. We would always let the salespeople kind of come in one day. We
had to swap them out.
Yeah, swap them out.
We can only have 5 there at a time.
But then that kind of actually changed the way we did business. Remember, because you took all the leads, you took all the phone ups, because people couldn't come to a dealership then. Nope. We had to do everything.
Well, and they didn't want to.
No, that's true.
They wanted to stay at home, but the people who did come in, I mean, we were really good at cleaning the cars, spacing everybody out so everybody felt comfortable. So it really wasn't that hard, but most customers did buy. And we delivered. I mean, we
delivered. It changed the way we looked at the car business back. And I remember that, and it was like, man, this is the way it is from here on out.
And it's going to get, to me, it's going to definitely get like that. Most people are not going to come into a dealership once they buy one over the internet.
People don't like coming here.
No. I mean, the people that do, though, I feel like we work very quickly, and they like to come in. Like the older people that we have here, they want to come in. They don't, they're not very tech savvy. So those type of customers are going to come in because they want to see somebody face to face. But the younger generation, I mean, they're so good with doing everything over the internet. Most of the time, they don't even have time. So if they don't want to come in, they have the option to buy over the phone, which 99% of the time they will.
Yeah. But I remember back then we always talked about it when COVID started that, I mean, it changed the way we done business forever.
It'll never go back.
Nope. Never go back. And I think the thing that you bring to the table is you make it so efficient, so quick, so effortless. I mean, it's so smooth. People never walk in here, never come in here. They do all their paperwork. They do everything. And I think people enjoy that we, some dealerships is like, nope, you got to get them in here. You got to come here, whatever.
We weren't going to do that anymore.
No.
I never would. If I did not work here, I would buy a vehicle over the phone. Absolutely.
Yeah. Makes it so much better. So much.
Oh, it's so
people's
much
time. People's time is so valuable now. I mean, you have kids and they have, I know a lot of people that work here has kids traveling baseball,
Yeah.
softball, soccer. I mean, my daughter the other day, it's summertime now, but she has to be at school like at 6:30 every morning for this practice or that practice,
Mm-hmm.
and it's all summer. And I'm like, man, where did kids' summers go now? I mean, there is no summer anymore. I
Yep.
mean, you're at school all the time. So people's time is more valuable, I'd say, than any time.
Oh, it absolutely is. And a lot of the customers here, I mean, nobody wants to spend hours in a dealership, and you shouldn't have to. I
Yeah.
mean, if you're comfortable with doing everything over the phone, I can get it done in an hour and a half tops.
I
I
think,
can go as fast as they want me to go. So if
yeah.
you want to get it done in a couple hours, we can do that. If you want to get it done within a day's span time, depending on how your workday is,
But on the same token, some people take their time.
they do.
Like
Mm-hmm.
how long is the people from Virginia? How long you been talking to them?
Well, it's been a whirlwind with them just because the language barrier, obviously, and then every lyric that we try and sell them, somebody pops up and just buys it anyway. So, and they're pretty particular on the car that they want. So, but we've always found another one. They're going to end up buying 3 by the end of this week, and they're
Yep.
going to come drive and pick them up as soon as they get off the transport
Yep.
car. So, I mean, it just depends on where they are and if they're trying to sell the car outright. All those things play a factor in that. But typically, I mean, it's done within a couple of days.
All right. So here's a scenario.
Okay.
What if somebody has a trade in there in Virginia and we can't see it?
Oh no, I get pictures of that.
Do you?
Yeah, they're not going to show up without showing it. But they're really good at doing that. I mean, I tell them send very specific photos, send me pictures of the tires, send me a picture of it starting up. And they're willing to do that because they know that we're the cheapest in the U.S.
Yeah. And I think that goes back to the trust thing. They gain trust in you because you're honest with them. You send them.
Yep.
You send them as much information you can, and then in turn they do it to you. Now, sometimes you get bit. Yeah, sometimes, everything you'd like to. But overall, I think it is I think it's that trust factor that you build up that kind of make sure that everything's on the up and up.
Yep. And most of the time they are honest because I mean, if they're going to drive 20 hours here, I tell them up front, hey, this car has to look exactly the way that you sent me pictures of. You can't take a picture from a year ago and think it's going to come here with a missing bumper or something and you're going to get the same price. But every car that we've had this year, it looks exactly the way the pictures were sent.
Yeah. Yeah. I know we do a lot of online. We have a big online presence now at all the dealerships, especially this one.
Yep.
Where do you see it going in like 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years? Where you think it's headed to?
I would say probably about 90% of people are going to start buying online.
Yeah.
It'll stay like that just because people are so used to it. Everybody now is so tech savvy. I mean, there's no point in going to a dealership when you don't have to.
Yeah.
And you can do it all over the phone.
Yeah.
You can either come pick it up, we'll deliver it. I mean, what's the point of coming in when you know you don't have to? I don't go anywhere. I shop everything online between my groceries, my clothes, anything. Like I don't go into the store anytime.
And I don't know what's this generation called. I mean,
The millennials.
yeah, whatever it's called. I mean, I know there was a baby boomers. No, I'm not. Yeah. I don't know all that savvy, but
what is it, Gen Z?
Yeah, but I would say as these people this age grow and get older and older and older, 10 to 15 years,
it's gonna be totally different.
It'll be totally different.
I mean, it's been different since COVID anyway.
Yeah,
but it's gonna be even more different.
So you gotta have a good online presence. You gotta make it easy for people to that about sums everything up. You got to make it easy for people.
But people are familiar with it now.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not an unknown. I mean, they're fine with it now. I mean, just like Carvana. I mean, they're not doing very well, obviously.
Yeah.
But I mean, people have got so used to doing that process, they're fine with it.
Yeah, and I think it all comes down to trust. If they trust you, and a lot of the places that's tried it, like you said, a lot of places tried it. Well, they get a car and they can't get a title, they can't get this, they can't get that because they're talking to like a computer and they're not really talking to a human being. I think that's what makes us different is if they call here or they get online or whatever, before it's over with, they're going to talk to you on the phone.
Well, they talk to me on the phone the entire process.
Yeah.
So, and I mean, it's not like they're talking to some customer service like they would through Carvana. I mean, here it's totally different.
One thing I would say that you've taught me is a lot of people don't want to talk on the phone starting out. And if I could tell customers probably one thing, once you get the initial thing started, unless you just say, I do not want to talk to a human on the phone, which I think that's kind of
It's kind of rare though. I will
Kind of
say
sad in a way.
90% of the time they want me to call them, and it's so much easier to do that anyway. I can get everything done in a 5-minute phone call compared to
Yeah,
a 2-hour time span of texting.
that's what I was going to say. I think if you could give consumers a piece of advice as far as once the process gets started, once you've sent your internet lead and you go, "Ooh, Lord, I hope I don't have to talk to somebody," and you send your lead in and then you answer it.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, we got communication. A lot of people won't get the phone number, will they? Starting out,
Sometimes they don't.
yeah, it's just the email,
Sometimes
and
they
then you
don't.
can text.
Yeah.
They have to opt into text. But once I would tell consumers this, once they make that initial contact, give them your phone number. Talk to, because
Yeah.
they're gonna get somebody lovely on the phone like you,
Yeah.
and
I mean,
then
we had a guy from Texas. He refused to give me his phone number until we agreed upon numbers, and
yeah,
then he did.
and I can
I
understand
get it
that a
to an
little bit. Yeah,
extent. Yeah.
yeah. But once everything gets going good, I mean, give them your phone number.
It's
Talk
so
to them on the
easy.
phone. It's so easy. It makes it so much quicker,
I just
and I
need
mean,
5 minutes.
yeah.
5 minutes of your time and you can have a new car. That's all
Now,
it takes.
if you give them your phone number, they pick the phone up like, what? They grouchy and blah 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 blah.
Sometimes they are.
Yeah,
Sometimes they are, but they'll come around.
yeah, but that's a different story. But
Yeah.
yeah, give them your phone number, because man, it seems like the as time passes, whatever, we kind of get to where nobody wants to talk to anybody like a human talk, and it's kind of sad in a way, because a lot of people, oh, you can text me, don't call me, but text me, and I hate
Makes us
that the
different.
world's going that way, but I mean it's just the way it is. But
That's what's different here. I
yeah,
mean, most of them, they have my cell phone. They can call me whenever they want to.
what'd you say?
They have my cell phone. I mean, they can call me whenever I mean, how many dealerships out there give out their cell phone? That's a personal factor that you need with somebody. So
Yeah.
they think that they are talking to a friend. They're not going to be calling a landline, constantly asking for somebody. They have my cell phone. They can call or text whenever they want. I mean, people I've sold a year ago are still texting me for service appointments. They go directly through me for everything.
And would you say that's what kind of separates us from other dealerships?
Absolutely.
That
They know me personally at this point.
does people have my cell phone?
Yeah.
They
Way too many people probably have your cell phone.
that's all right though. I
That's
mean,
all
it's
right.
fine, but I want people to call me. It's
Mhm.
just like once you
do.
start to, I mean, you have come up here and tore me up one side down the other, like, hey, I need you to get this car, because people, they do call you. They call your cell phone. They call you
do.
at night and say, hey, how's the deal coming? Is my car there? Is it ready to go? And that's why we want to be different. We want to be where we can pick the phone up. You're not talking to a computer. You're talking to a human being. And I think that's why it makes us a little bit
It
different
makes
from
us a
everyone.
lot different.
I agree with that 100%.
And I think that's why people continue to come back, especially in Savannah. That is a very repeat and referral type of dealership because they already know them. They call them on their cell phone,
Yeah.
Facebook message them, whatever they, however they get a hold of them. But that's how most of the cars they sell is because they have that rapport and they can find them on any social media. They can call their cell phone. I mean, you don't have to shop anywhere. We're willing to do it. Why would you go to a different dealership?
That is correct. And what about price? We're probably the best
We're the
price.
lowest. That's why I sell so many out of state.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
If they can
I
find
agree.
us from Alaska,
Yeah.
we are the lowest around.
Yeah.
And they continue.
And it always puzzles me how people, I mean, people from Alaska and Virginia, how they find us. I mean, and I'm assuming because they're looking and the first thing you do is like, well, let me find the lowest price Cadillac or Tesla or
Well, you can do that
GMC.
online. I mean, you say if they go to Car Gurus,
Yeah.
I mean, you can edit everything that you want from make, model, trim level, color, and then you go from lowest price to highest price. We're going to pop up on the first page. We're going to be the first ones that they call.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we just delivered to the Cadillac Lyrics was to Pennsylvania last month, Vermont. We sold one to Florida, Georgia. I mean, most of the East Coast, because they're going to be a lot higher on the same makes and models that we have here in the Midwest.
That makes sense. I see what you're saying.
So, I mean,
so if it's a GMC, a Cadillac, a Tesla, if they're on a lot in Pennsylvania, well, that car is higher there. So by the time they get online, they find us, we're
$4 or $5 grand cheaper.
$4 or $5 grand cheaper. We can still sell them that car for that, deliver it to them, and they still $3 or $4 grand cheaper than where they live at. Yeah.
That's why I mean, they're not going to shop in their hometown anymore.
Yeah. Makes sense. Yeah. So I do. It sort of warms my heart to know that we've sold so many cars. As somebody was saying the other day, that there's a map at Savannah on all the states if they had.
Oh, that would be cool. We should do that.
So I know. Yeah,
I mean, and as new as we've been here, I can't believe how many we've sold out of state for
Yeah.
being a new dealership here in town. I
So,
mean, we sold just as many out of state as we do locally, which is a good thing.
oh yeah.
I mean, obviously we want the local customers, but you still have to expand that clientele. And the good thing is, all these customers out of state, they still come back. So we might not get their service or anything like that, but I mean, they're willing to call me and they're still willing to work a deal over the phone, and it doesn't matter what make and model. They don't have to buy a GMC. They can buy whatever they want, or we can, obviously find what they want at the auction.
Yeah.
And they'll never go anywhere else.
Yeah. It's amazing. It's amazing how things have changed from the time I first got into car business. I'm sure you've been in the car business 10 years.
It's way different.
Oh my gosh. And it's going to
I mean,
change.
internet office did not look like this. I mean, it started to get busier about 4 or 5 years ago is when it really jumped up. But I mean, 10 years ago, I mean, we were doing cold call list. We were calling 200 people a day, and I never want to do that ever again. I mean, you don't have to do that anymore, but I don't want to do that ever again.
That's tough, ain't it?
It's hard.
And
it's
people
really, really
cuss
hard
you
to do
out.
that.
Don't call me. Don't do this. Blah blah blah.
It's a stressful job.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, it's kind of like insurance. They got to sit there and call 200-300 people a day just to get clientele. And now, I mean, it takes me from the time I get here till 7 p.m. at night, and that is when you are done.
Yeah.
And sometimes even then, you still have people texting or calling you throughout the night, but it's worth it because, we're trying to build this dealership up and be the best in town.
Yeah.
So
would you, let's say somebody puts the internet lead in at, which you leave here at 7, 10 o'clock at night, they could still possibly, you're still going to answer that lead, ain't you?
no, I am.
And I always tell you, I said, please figure out some way. I mean, you work 7 days a week. Even though you're not here, you work 7 days a week.
Yep.
I mean, you've texted me before on Sunday or late Saturday night or Friday night or any night and say, hey, can you get me this car, this color, this, that? And, I jump on the computer home. And I think that sets us apart from everybody else because, that's what we do.
But I enjoy it. I mean,
I do too.
You're not going to do that unless you enjoy it. You're not going to go out of your way for business if you don't enjoy working there, which I do. I don't know anybody my age that works as much as I do that loves their job probably as much as I do. I mean, it's a fun job. It's not.
It is fun.
It's not as hard as what people make it out to be.
It's the way I think that our culture is and the way we do business. I believe it makes you feel good to come into work and just that challenge of, man, where am I going to get a call from today? Where am I going to get it? It may be Alaska, maybe.
It's always different.
Florida. I mean, it may be somewhere else. But to me, it feels good to wake up in the morning and say, man, I'm ready to go to work. And when it gets to the point where it's not fun anymore, then I guess we'll go do something else. But up until that point, I mean, it is fun to come to work.
I don't think that day will ever come, though.
I don't think so either.
And my job's a lot funner than most people, I think. I don't have to deal with the same thing every single day. It's always a different story, always a different car deal, it's always something.
Selling cars is kind of, once it gets in your blood and it gets in your system, I mean, it's hard to go do something else. A lot of people.
I tried.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard too. It's sort of like hunting. Once you start hunting, and it's that thing you like to do. And
I think hunting's a lot easier, but that's okay.
To be honest with you, the selling the car is just the bonus on the end. It's the interaction with people that I enjoy. I mean, I like sitting. If somebody comes in here to buy a truck tomorrow and they come up here, we sit down. Before it's over with, it's going to be an hour and a half. We talk about farming or hunting or fishing or God knows what. I mean,
it doesn't have to be serious. It doesn't have to be just a business transaction, and that's what we do here. It's just always so fun with all the customers that we have. And I remember specifically working in Smithville, we had so many fun customers there.
Oh, yeah.
It was hard to leave there. I mean, I love working here too, but Smithville was so fun. They had a really good clientele, and it didn't feel like you were working.
No, I felt like you just all your buddies.
Yep.
Yeah, and the people that came in there was so good. That's a great community, and
it is.
And we love Smithfield. It's just.
It's a different atmosphere.
It is.
It is here too, though, in a good way. They're different in their own ways.
It's different than Savannah.
Yeah. Savannah's more of like the hick town, laid back. We're right in the middle now. I mean, you never know what you're going to get here, but.
No, that's true. Yeah.
That's the fun part about working here. You don't know what you're going to get here.
No. No, you don't. But we have fun. I mean,
Yeah.
it's so good to come into work and
is
enjoy it and have fun. But anyway, man, I appreciate you coming on here today.
Of course.
I'm sure we'll come back. We'll probably do a couple more of these and kind of let you, if things change, you know, and say, hey, this is kind of changing the car business. This is something to look for, and we can give people probably some tips. And
Yeah.
even if you don't come to us, if you're going to buy a car, just say, hey, these are the things you need to ask. Especially if you're emailing back and forth, these is what you need to ask. You
The whole
know,
process
specifics
on how
and
to do
kind of
things,
get instead of where it won't be so grainy. Okay, I
agree.
appreciate you. Thank you
Thanks.
for all you do.